Hello, my beautifuls. Okay, so hopefully Gretchen allows us to do this. Welcome to 1111 Tarot. I am Alma D. And today, just about an hour ago, Richard Allen of the Delphi case, where Abigail Williams, and Liberty German were the victims, were murdered, the probable cause affidavit has been released. Now, what it means by probable cause affidavit is that this tells us why the law enforcement feel that Richard Allen did it. Okay? What evidence do they have to back it up? So, I am going to read through this for those of you that are interested. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'll try to remember to turn the page for you. It is very tiny, so it probably is hard to read for you. I have it on a much larger screen, but I will, once this is not live, once it's uploaded, I will put the link for the PDF down below. And if you choose to rewatch it, or you're just simply rewatching it, you can grab the link and read along with me. I need to know the details of this. After my trip to Delphi and sitting with my back on that bridge and just understanding the energies there, this means a lot to me to understand what the police feel they have that is going to be successful in justifying the means of arresting Richard Allen and charging him with the murders of Libby and Abby. All right, one moment. I'm going to mute, get a drink, and we're going to get going. State of Indiana, Carroll, County of Carroll. State of Indiana versus Richard M. Allen, probable cause affidavit. I, the undersigned affit, submit the following information pursuant to IC 353372 as a sworn affidavit setting forth the facts and circumstances known to law enforcement of Carroll County as the basis for probable cause to arrest without a warrant or to establish probable cause for issuance of an arrest warrant for the above named defendant. That the facts and circumstances described below will be sufficient basis for a person of reasonable caution and prudence to believe that the accused has committed or attempted to commit the offense is described, and that if arrested without a warrant, such would be authorized under IC 353311. That the hearsay statements of witnesses contained herein are considered reliable and credible due to the witnesses' personal knowledge and or are corroborated by the totality of the circumstances. That on February 14, 2017, Victim 1 and Victim 2, let's stop right there, you guys. We know that as I say Victim 1 and Victim 2, they are referring to Abby and Libby, okay? All right, let's start again. Deep breath, everybody. Here we go. That on February 14, 2017, Victim 1 and Victim 2 were found deceased in the woods approximately 0.2 miles northeast of the Monon High Bridge in Carroll County. Their bodies were located on the north side of the Deer Creek. At the time, the Monon High Bridge Trail was approximately 1 mile gravel trail terminating at the Monon High Bridge. The Monon High Bridge is an abandoned railroad trestle approximately 0.25 miles long spanning the Deer Creek and Deer Creek Valley on the southeast end of the trail. Approximately 0.7 miles northwest on the trail from the northwestern edge of the Monon High Bridge is the Freedom Bridge, which is a pedestrian bridge spanning State Road 25. Approximately 350 feet west of Freedom Bridge was a former railroad overpass over Old State Road 25, also known as County Road 300 North. The trail terminates just west of the former railroad overpass. The majority of the trail is in a wooded area with a steep embankment on the south side of the trail. The entirety of the trail and the location of the girls' bodies were and are located in Carroll County, Indiana. Through interviews, reviews of electronic records, and review of video at the Hoosier Harvest Store, investigators believe Victim 1 and Victim 2 were dropped off across from the Mears farm at 1:49 p.m. on February 13, 2017 by blank. When I say blank, you guys, it's because it's a retracted name. The Mears farm is located on the north side of County Road 300 North near an entrance to the trails. A video from Victim 2's phone shows that at 2:13 p.m., Victim 1 and Victim 2 encountered a male subject on the southeast portion of the Monon High Bridge. The male ordered the girls, guys, down the hill. No witness. Did I screw something up? Hold on. My head just got a flash pain. That was so weird. Okay, here we go. I'm just going to start where I need to feel comfortable. The Mears farm is located on the north side of County Road 300 North near an entrance to the trails. A video from Victim 2's phone shows that at 2:13 p.m., Victim 1 and Victim 2 encountered a male subject on the southeast portion of the Monon High Bridge. The male ordered the girls, guys, down the hill. No witness saw them after this time. No outgoing communications were found on Victim 2's phone after this time. Their bodies were discovered on February 14, 2017. The video recovered from Victim 2's phone shows Victim 1 walking southeast on the Monon High Bridge while a male subject wearing a dark jacket and jeans walks behind her. As the male subject approaches Victim 1 and Victim 2, one of the victims mentions gun. Near the end of the video, a male is seen and heard telling the girls, guys, down the hill. The girls then begin to proceed down the hill, and the video ends. A still photograph taken from the video and the Guys Down the Hill audio was subsequently released to the public to assist investigators in identifying the male. Victim 1 and Victim 2's deaths were ruled as homicides. Clothes were found in the Deer Creek belonging to Victim 1 and Victim 2, south of where their bodies were located. There was also a .40 caliber unspent round less than 2 feet away from Victim 2's body, between Victim 1 and Victim 2's bodies. The round was unspent and had extraction marks on it. Interviews were conducted with 3 juveniles, blank and blank. They advised they were on the Monon High Bridge Trail on February 13, 2017. They advised they were walking on the trail toward Freedom Bridge to go home when they encountered a male walking from Freedom Bridge toward the Monon High Bridge. Blank described the male as, quote, kind of creepy, and advised he was wearing, quote, like blue jeans, a really light blue jacket, and his hair was gray, maybe a little brown, and he did not really show his face. She advised the jacket was a duck canvas type jacket. Blank advised she said hi to the male, but he just glared at them. She recalled him being in all black and had something covering his face. Pause right there. Stop right there. She just described him wearing light blue clothes, but she recalls him being in all black. Okay, let's continue. She described him as, quote, not very tall, with a bigger build. She said he was not bigger than 5'10". Blank advised he was wearing a black hoodie, black jeans, and black boots. She stated he had his hands in his pocket. Let's stop right there. I think they have switched witnesses. I I would hope. Okay, let's continue. Here we go. Blank showed investigators photographs she took on her phone while she was on the trail that day. The photographs include a photo of the Monon Bridge taken at 12:43 p.m. and another one taken at 1:26 p.m. of the bench east of the Freedom Bridge. Blank advised after she took the photo of the bench, they started walking back toward Freedom Bridge. She advised that was when they encountered the man who matched the description of the photograph taken from victim two's video. Blank described the man she encountered on the trail as wearing a blue or black windbreaker jacket. She advised the jacket had a collar, and he had his hood up from the clothing underneath his jacket. She advised he was wearing baggy jeans and was taller than her. She advised her head came up to approximately his shoulder. She advised Blank said hi to the man and that he said nothing back. She stated he was walking with a purpose, like he knew where he was going. She stated he had his hands in his pocket and kept his head down. She advised she did not get a good look at his face, but believed him to be a white male. The girls advised after encountering the male, they continued to walk across Freedom Bridge and the old railroad bridge over Old State Road 25. Investigators spoke with Blank, who advised she was on the trails on February 13, 2017. Video from the Hoosier Harvest Store captured Blank vehicle traveling eastbound at 1:46 p.m. toward the entrance across from the Mears farm. Blank advised she saw 4 juvenile females walking on the bridge over Old State Road 25 as she was driving underneath on her way to park. Blank advised there was no other cars parked across from the Mears farm when she parked. She advised she walked to the Monon High Bridge and observed a male matching the one from victim two's video. She described the male she saw as a white male wearing blue jeans and a blue jean jacket. She advised he was standing on the first platform of the Monon High Bridge, approximately 50 feet from her. She advised she turned around at the bridge and continued her walk. She advised approximately halfway between the bridge and the parking area across from Mears Farm, she passed 2 girls walking toward Monon High Bridge. She advised she believed the girls were victim 1 and victim 2. Video from the Hoosier Harvest Store shows 1:49 p.m. a white car matching Blank vehicle traveling away from the entrance across from the Mears farm. Blank advised she finished her walk and saw no other adult other than the male on the bridge. Her vehicle is seen on Hoosier Harvest Store video at 2:14 p.m., leaving westbound from the trails. Blank advised when she was leaving, she noted a vehicle was parked in an old manor at the old Child Protective Service building. She said it was not odd for vehicles to be parked there, but she noticed it was odd because of the manner it was parked, backed in near the building. Investigators received a tip from Blank, in which he stated he was on his way to Delphi on State Road 25 around 2:10 p.m. on February 13, 2017. He observed a purple PT Cruiser or a small SUV type vehicle parked on the south side of the old CPS building. He stated it appeared as though it was backed up in as to conceal the license plate of the vehicle. Blank both drew diagrams of where they saw the vehicle parked, and their diagrams generally match as to the area the vehicle was parked and the manner in which it was parked. Blank advised he remembered seeing a smaller, dark-colored car parked at the old CPS building. He described it as possibly a, quote, smart car. Blank vehicle is seen leaving at 2:28 p.m. on the Hoosier Harvester video. Investigators spoke with Blank, who stated that she was traveling east on 300 North on February 13th, 2022, and observed a male subject walking west on the north side of 300 North, away from the Mononhai Bridge. She advised that the male subject was wearing a blue-colored jacket and blue jeans and was muddy and bloody. She further stated that it appeared he had gotten into a fight. Investigators were able to determine from watching the video from the Hoosier Harvest Store that Blank was traveling on CR 300 North at approximately 3:57 p.m. Through interviews, electronic data, photographs, and video from the Hoosier Harvest Store, investigators determined that there were other people on the trail that day after 2:13 p.m. The people were interviewed, and none of those individuals encountered the male subject referenced above, witnessed by the juvenile girls, Blank, and Blank. Further, none of those individuals witnessed victim 1 and victim 2. Truth train coming through, you guys. Investigators reviewing prior tips encountered a tip narrative from an officer who interviewed Richard M. Allen in 2017. That narrative stated, Mr. Allen was on the trail between 13:30 and 15:30 hours. He parked at the old Farm Bureau building and walked to the new Freedom Bridge. While at the Freedom Bridge, he saw 3 females. He noted one was taller and had brown hair or black hair. He did not remember description, nor did he speak with them. He walked from the Freedom Bridge to the High Bridge. He did not see anybody, although he stated he was watching a stock ticker on his phone as he walked. He stated there were vehicles parked at the High Bridge trail head, however, did not pay attention to them. He did not take any photos or video. His cell phone did not list an IMEI, but did have the following: MEID 256, 691, 463, 100, 153, 495. MEID hex 99002470257797. Potential follow-up information. Who were the 3 girls walking in the area of Freedom Bridge? Investigators believe Mr. Allen was referring to the former Child Protective Service building as there was not a Farm Bureau building in the area, nor had there been. Investigators believe the females he saw included Blank and Blank due to the time they were leaving the trail and the time he reported getting to the trail, and the descriptions the 3 females gave. Investigators discovered Richard Allen owned 2 vehicles in 2017, a 2016 black Ford Focus and a 2006 gray Ford 500. Investigators observed a vehicle that resembled Allen's 2016 Ford Focus on the Hoosier Harvest Store video at 1:27 p.m., traveling westbound on CR 300 North in front of the Hoosier Harvest Store, which coincided with his statement that he arrived around 1:30 p.m. at the trails. Investigators note witnesses described the vehicle parked at the former Child Protective Services building as a PT Cruiser, small SUV, or, quote, smart car. Investigators believe those descriptions are similar in nature to a 2016 Ford Focus. On October 13th, 2022, Richard Allen was interviewed again by investigators. He advised he was on the trails on February 13, 2017. He stated he saw juvenile girls on the trails east of Freedom Bridge and he went on to Mononhai Bridge. Richard Allen further stated he went out onto Mononhai Bridge to watch the fish. Later in his statement, he said he walked out to the first platform on the bridge. He stated he then walked back, sat on the bench on the trail, and then left. He stated he parked his car on the side of an old building. He told investigators that he was wearing blue jeans and a black or blue Carhartt jacket with a hood. He advised he may have been wearing some type of head covering as well. He further claimed he saw no one else except for the juvenile girls he saw east of the Freedom Bridge. He told investigators that he owns firearms and they are at his home. Richard M. Allen's wife, Kathy Allen, also spoke to investigators. She confirmed that Richard did have guns and knives at the residence. She also stated that Richard still owns a blue Carhartt jacket. On October 13, 2022, investigators executed a search warrant of Richard Allen's residence at 1967 North Whiteman Drive, Delphi, Carroll County, Indiana. Among other items, officers located jackets, boots, knives, and firearms, excuse me, including a 6 Sawyer model P226, a 40 caliber pistol with serial number U65627. Between October 14th and 2022 and October 19, 2022, this Indiana State Police laboratory performed an analysis on Allen's 6 Sawyer model P226. The laboratory performed a physical examination and classification of the firearm, function test, barrel and overall length measurement, test firing, ammunition component characterization, microscopic comparison, and NI-bin. The laboratory determined the unspent round located within 2 feet of victim 2's body had been cycled through Richard M. Allen's 6 Sawyer model P226. The laboratory remarked, "An identification opinion is reached when the evidence exhibits an agreement of class characteristics and sufficient agreement of individual marks. Sufficient agreement is related to the significant duplication of random, striated, and impressed marks as evidenced by the correspondence of a pattern or combination of patterns or surface contours. The interpretation of identification is subjective in nature and based on relevant scientific research and the reporting examiner's training and experience." Investigators then ran the firearm and found that the firearm was purchased by Richard Allen in 2001. Richard Allen voluntarily came to the Indiana State Police Post on October 26, 2022. He spoke with investigators and stated that he never allowed anyone to use or borrow the 6 Sawyer model P222 firearm. When asked about the unspent bullet, he did not have an explanation of why the bullet was found between the bodies of victim 1 and victim 2. He again admitted that he was on the trail, but denied knowing victim 1 or victim 2 and denied any involvement in their murders. Carroll County Sheriff's Department Detective Blank has been part of the investigation since it started in 2017. He has had an opportunity to review and examine evidence gathered in this investigation. Detective Blank, along with other investigators, believe the evidence gathered shows that Richard Allen is the male subject seen in the video from victim 2's phone who forced the victims down the hill. Further, the victims were forced down the hill by Richard Allen and led to the location where they were murdered. Through the statements and photographs of the juvenile females and the statement of Blank were at the southeast edge of the trail at 12:43 p.m., east of the Freedom Bridge at 1:26 p.m., and walked across a former railroad overpass over Old State Road 25 after 1:26 p.m. and before 1:46 p.m. They walked the entirety of the trail and observed only one person, an adult male. Blank's vehicle is seen on Hoosier Harvester video at 1:46 p.m. and leaving at 2:14 p.m., and she stated she only saw one male. blank and blank described the male in similar manners, wearing similar clothing, leading investigators to believe all four saw the same male individual. Investigators believe the male observed by blank and blank is the same male depicted in the video from victim two's phone due to the descriptions of the male by the four females matching the male in the video. Furthermore, victim two's video was taken at 2:13 p.m. and blank saw only one male while she was on the trail from approximately 1:46 p.m. to 2:14 p.m. This is so much to take in. Investigators believe Richard Allen was the male seen by blank and blank and the male seen in victim two's video. Richard Allen told investigators he was on the trail from 1:30 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. that day. Video from Hoosier Harvest Store shows a vehicle that matches the description of Richard Allen's vehicle passing at 1:27 p.m. toward the former CPS building. The clothing he told investigators he was wearing matched the clothing of the male in victim two's video and the clothing descriptions provided by blank and blank. A vehicle matching the description of his 2016 Ford Focus is seen at or around 2:10 p.m., 2:14 p.m., and 2:28 p.m. at the former CPS building. Through his own admission, Richard Allen walked the trails and eventually hiked to the Moonology Bridge and walked out onto the Moonology Bridge. A male subject matching Richard Allen's description was not seen on the trail after 2:13 p.m. Investigators identified other individuals on the trail, or CR 300 north, between 2:30 p.m. and 4:11 p.m. None of those individuals saw a male subject matching the description of Richard Allen on the trail. Furthermore, Richard Allen stated he only saw 3 girls on the trail who investigators believed to be blank, blank, and blank. Investigators believe Richard Allen was not seen on the trail after 2:13 p.m. because he was in the woods with victim 1 and victim 2. An unspent .40 caliber round between the bodies of victim 1 and victim 2 was forensically determined to have been cycled through Richard Allen's Sig Sauer Model P226. The Sig Sauer Model P226 was found at Richard Allen's residence, and he admitted to owning it. Investigators were able to determine that he had owned it since 2001. Richard Allen stated he had not been on that property where the unspent round was found, that he did not know the property owner, and that he had no explanation as to why the round cycled through his firearm would be at that location. Furthermore, he stated that he never allowed anyone to use or borrow the Sig Sauer Model P226. Investigators believe that after the victims were murdered, Richard Allen returned to his vehicle by walking down CR 300 North. Investigators believe he was seen by blank walking back to his vehicle on CR 300 North with clothing that were muddy and bloody. Blank, along with investigators, believe the statements made by the witnesses because, let me restart that. Blank, along with the investigators, believe the statements made by the witnesses because the statements corroborate the timeline of the death of the 2 victims, as well as coincide with admissions made by Richard Allen. Further, the accounts replayed by blank and blank are similar in nature, and timestamps on photographs taken by blank correspond to the times the juvenile females said they were on the trail and saw the male individual. And that, my dears, we're going to come up to chat. Wow. A bullet that matches his gun right in between the girls, though unspent. How in the hell would it get there if he didn't do it? You guys got to let me know what you think. What? I'm going to pause, wet my whistle. I'm going to let you guys kind of chat this out for those of you that are tuning in. There is so much to unpack here. Okay, I'm going to rewind. What? Okay. How many total witnesses were there? There's a lot, actually, that saw him. But okay, I'm going to wet my whistle, let this sink in. My head's just rolling with stuff. All right, so, you know, there's always a double-edged sword because if Richard Allen is indeed innocent, then I am on the other side of what appears to be almost like the Stephen Avery Teresa Habach case because the media painted him as a murderer and he was indeed framed. So Mama D's got to walk this with a little bit of restraint and keep in mind he's innocent until proven guilty. Now, I do have to say, it seems pretty seriously. This looks very damning. Do you not feel that? Do you not feel that, you guys? Let me get a different background so that we can see your chat a little better. I was studying Masons there for a little bit, too, in the Delphi case, so I find that kind of interesting, to say the least. Yeah, it's also known as the club. Oh, yeah. Freemason. The club. Often you'll hear me say the club. Well, now you'll know the definition, right, Sassafras? Me and Sassafras go way, way back. We have very similar understandings of things because we have the history of the other channel. I know. I think that's the, let me just say, I believe the club is the building blocks behind the elites. I don't know. We're going to have to really study this with Richard Allen. I get a really weird feeling that somebody might have just, I don't know. I get a really weird feeling. I gotta just kind of take it slow and easy through this case. And remember, he is innocent till proven guilty, but like, I want to rush in and be like, how else would the bullet get there? There's one side of me that's like, there is no way in hell you can tell me that his bullet got between them girls without him being the dude that all those witnesses saw, right? Then there's a other part of me that is like, okay, if this dude did just take a walk, the girls saw him at the edge of the bridge, but nobody saw him on the bridge, right? I kind of want to be like, show us the footage. You got nothing left to give, nothing left to hide. We know the case. This is going to trial. Show us the damn video. Let us judge ourselves if that's really Alan in the video. Like, we need to hear it and see it all at once, right? Let's get you guys something to look at. Let me see here. Hopefully I don't close chat. Let's go to gallery. Oh, it'll be sideways. But let's just see here. That dude's pretty upset at Mama D right now. Sorry, guy. You're the one putting yourself out there. I give you all heads up. If you are a witness or you are just by your logistics, your demographics, across the street or a neighbor or a babysitter, and you are there when this crime takes place, like you have, access to the victim, you have possibly opportunity to get to the victim. My best guess, and I'm no lawyer, but try to stay out of the limelight because if you don't, we are going to give you the attention that you're seeking. Whether the news people came to you or not, you know the word no. You're a free will. So, little dude, Jeremy, you got to get over yourself and realize you brought it all on yourself. And you talk a lot. A lot. Mm-hmm. Indeed. So, is he done talking finally? Still, I can't see the chat so good. Let's try again. What else do we have? Let's see here. Everything I do apparently has a white background right now. What is this? All right. No, it's not big enough. I need something really big. Oh, these are the babies. Still a white background, but is it not adorable? Oh, you guys, guess what? Jackie Moon and Lucky Star may be coming home on Friday. We have had an interruption in normal puppying, and the mother is done nursing babies as of yesterday. And so the vet has instructed them to begin weaning the dogs immediately and get food in them. So we might be able to get the puppies early. I told them to keep them as long as they can so that they get to be with their mama as long as possible. But I guess she's starting to kind of be a narcissistic mom and nip at her babies. I mean, oh, I'm always working against these parents that want to hurt their kids. What the hell is wrong with these people, right? Let let Jeremy talk. Let him keep talking. So I'm kind of walking right now in my house. I'm on the back porch, so the sound is different. Acoustics is way different. I don't think he is done talking. But let's get back onto the Delphi case a little bit here, you guys. I know. I brought him up. I know. I will say this, though. Mama D's got to have the last word on this. Jeremy, keep talking. We're listening. Keep talking. Keep sharing. Tell us everything deep, deep down in your heart that make you feel better if you get it off your chest. Keep sharing. Is Lee McKenna here? Lee, are you here? Because I received your gift. Even though my post office box was closed, I went in today and I was like, I didn't happen to get a package before I closed the post office box, did I? And she's like, well, we closed it early on you, so we held the packages for you. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And so, Lee, I got that beautiful gift you sent me, and I will show it off the next time I do a reading, my love. I hope you're here hearing this. Can you tell what my photo spread is? I can't help it. I'm in love with them. You can see I am in love with the babies. I am. So Muffin Top says, why, after all this time, if they had all this evidence in the Delphi case, why didn't they arrest him? Why would you want that person in society free? Well, and we don't know when they realized about this gun. So even if they had a spent bullet, laying between the victims, right? If they don't have Richard's gun and know to look at him, they've just got a spent bullet and they don't know who it matches to. However, if they're reviewing old things and they're like, wait a minute, this guy was on the bridge, which, yeah, I agree with you, Muffin Top. It seems like why take, 6 years to get to the point that you're like, wait a minute, this dude said he was on the bridge and all these people are describing what he looks like identical. And we got all that footage of him. Hmm. Yeah, something's weird. Maybe there was like suspicion, but even then, why not bring him in and thoroughly question him? You know? I agree, Leanne. I think that they had him. I don't know why. I mean, I would hate to think it had anything to do political that, so and so's people are retiring. And so, boom. Mark in history, because then we're back to that Mason Club, right? Right? Because then we start looking at things a little bit different. And then I start thinking, okay, this is indeed a plant. They dropped the bullet, they planted the entire thing, and it's really the Masons. So, I mean, I'll be honest, I still personally cannot get over where I sat with the voice match to MP. And if you don't, that's Mike. You know what I'm saying? Grandpa matches. CFAB, that's what I'm saying. Maybe RA isn't a Mason. So therefore, yeah. Ugh. You know, it's like I wonder if I took the Delphi case and the Teresa Habach case, which I know them both now very, very well, and I overlaid the same program agenda. You know, like you go to a Christmas program and they hand you that little sheet and it's like the play by play. It looks familiar and it's starting to eat at me. Without alerting him and he gets rid of the gun. Maybe they didn't want him to snitch. I don't know, sassafras. All I know is that right now I'll tell you he's probably going to be sitting in life prison right beside Steve Avery. So if he is innocent, it won't matter. They've created the mob, they've created the monster in the media to basically, there is no way to give him a fair trial. And that, unfortunately, if he is the monster, we will never know if we had true justice because the monster's been so created by the media already that it's Richard Allen. I mean, I still can't get over that. You know, like if you look at other cases that are similar to this case, okay, we have actual recorded messages by lead investigators telling the state crime lab to put a suspect in, to put the DNA, all right, find a way to put this suspect's DNA in this person's home. That's recorded by state officials. So when you have investigators being able to do that, you don't have a unbiased crime lab. Now remember, the state crime labs don't have their own funding at this time. They get a trickle down from the police force. Okay? So now you got a big brother that you're going to get funding out of. And if things haven't changed, a few years ago, the state crime lab didn't get paid unless there was a conviction. So what an incentive. And that's what causes so many wrongful convictions. Somebody's got a problem. They've got authority. They don't like this person. They gun for them, regardless if the person did anything or not. They get sent up the river because evidence gets falsified in the lab because the lead investigator was like, put this person here. Remember, you're getting paid, right, to do your job. So you have to be very, very cautious that even he could be innocent, he could be guilty. But until he's proven to be guilty, which to me is me seeing him on footage walking across that bridge, Lake Clear. Oops, I locked you guys out, didn't I? I'm sorry. Didn't mean to lock you out. Absolutely, Fab Laundry. They should be forced to use independent labs that get paid regardless. Exactly. Third parties, right? So if, like when I worked at the food industry in the lab there, we always had third party audits. You couldn't get away with in-home testing for listeria because you're biased. You don't want that test result. You could lose millions of dollars. And what if it's just a tiny bit of listeria, is what the naughty ones think. But the unbiased person's like, whoa, that could kill one person, it could kill a million. Doesn't matter. It's not going on my kid's dinner plate. And the third party takes that risk away. But yet our crime labs are so far behind in time. You think nepotism is run throughout the good old boys in blue? Well, their daughters and their sons are also running the same crime lab. So you have to be very careful about your DNA. Don't be sending it into registries because they are collecting it for the data bank, right? And it's not because that way you can clear yourself. Well, I have nothing to be afraid of. I'm going to send my DNA in. Let them have it. I'll even offer it to them. Okay, until you piss them off. And then your DNA miraculously appears, possibly between two bodies, or maybe it appears in a vehicle with a little mark of a Q-tip showing that your blood somehow got in this car. So you got to be very cautious with your DNA. I think I just overwhelmed everybody. I don't mean to, you guys. I have a lot of years behind me under like research, like down deep into DNA and working with actual scientists that studied DNA. And so I got a lot of like understanding of the crime labs and how they really work. And it's absurd. You guys would just fall over if you knew. Okay, let me put it this way. In 2005, which, yeah, it doesn't seem that long ago, does it? They were using wooden benches and cupboards in the lab. Wooden. Think of DNA and how it works now. So, all right, my lovelies. I thank you so much for jumping on. I wanted to read this with everybody. I wanted to share a little bit of the backlog of double side coin here. Is Richard guilty or is Richard innocent? Only time will tell. And I think we're going to have to do some more studies of it to really dig in deep. And if I overwhelmed you guys today, I apologize. I just, like I said, I have a lot of analytical research built up in me. And so even though I do tarot readings and I do psychic studies and so forth on the cases, I then continue to follow them and then I work into the analytical behind the hardcore meat of it because I have a much better understanding of the energies, which I think most private investigators do. They just call it a hunch or intuition, but really they're doing what I'm doing, right? I thank you guys so much for joining me on this little, just pop it in, reading this for whoever wants it. It is very, bear with him, it's very complex. I will. I know Doug Carter, the superintendent, said that. I get it, Ruby. I'm trying. But I'll tell you right now, I can smell the bricks in the mortar, the more, that mason smells, so whatever, right? I love you guys. I truly do. I plan on actually coming on probably tomorrow. And I think what we're going to do is I think it's time. I've been looking at Jack D really strongly. I'd like to do an energy reading on him. I'd like to do the rods and kind of look at that as well. So for those of you that are tuning in and you would like to dig a little bit deeper, if you're involved or you want to understand more about the Idaho murders, which was Zana, Ethan, Kaylee, and Maddie. And Jack D happens to be one of their exes. So tune in with me tomorrow as we dig in. I love you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you, Christy. Thank you, Fab and Muffin and Ruby. I appreciate you guys. And of course, Sassafras, as always. I love you guys. To the moon and back.